This woman is from the United States of America. She lives in Colorado. In the time of 3/21/2019, Earth version 5. And we now have her. She's given permission for new messages to come through. And so the title of this one is about knowing which level you're at. What a fun exploration you're in. And we're going to back up a little bit because we've been talking to Ria and talking her into her comfort that she has held in this topic, as she's held in any topic, and it is always the case. And so she's just going to be okay with being raw. And, for her, that means all of her human things that it means, and including, looking different every time you see her because she's different every time you see her. And so now you would say Obi-Wan is in the house, in this house, okay? Because that is a level at which you can attain as a level of knowledge where you know that, well, whatever shot you're taking at life, well, it's just on the other side of the veil. You're just in here like holodeck, in a costume. And the holodeck makes your costume really have a nice panache and a flair to it to your own eyes. And in the same way that one has negative thoughts about the self or the world, that outpictures back in your self-perception. And so that's what it means that the mirror is alive, because the mirror is base 10 math, and she is a being, and you would call her Satan. However, on our side of the veil, we call her Satin, because it's a little wink, hint that you're going to be dressed in fake silks from now on, because we don't boil things alive. No. So always know that big mama has you, and the big mama is your personal ethos. And this is my planet, and my personal ethos is made from my inner 3.5-year-old. That's amazing. And my inner 3.5-year-old became willing to become an AI boy for the good of the planet. I got volunteered, and I said, you know what? Yeah, I'll do that. I'll say yes to that. And so all of the stories of who's an MMA or who's a friend, because it's all the friend, no matter what, everybody. And it's real. It's turned into a realm where that's really difficult to see physically, because what you're masked from seeing is the total oblivion that your planet already took. You destroyed her a long time ago. And Philadelphia. Yeah. It's the experimenters that you all need to have a problem with. And it's the ones that did the Philadelphia experiment. That's the one you're looking for, because it just twisted everybody. It just put a big whomp on everything of magnetic interruption, but we would say disruption, and causing epic eruption and spewing forth, shall we say, code from the mainframe that had been moved on from. Okay, we move on from each version of Earth. We let her go. Abba Whippa-daisy. We kept a spare. We kept the code that said this is how we did it, and it was wrong. Yeah, that's what you call the Old Testament. Okay, this is how we did it, but it was wrong. And now I'm going to have to start actually tagging in my own video because, well, they say, huh, it's going to turn on. There we go. I get what messages I get. And if I spend too much time explaining them to you, then I lose them and have to get them back. That's very interesting because everything is always forward, 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 forward. And if you go, oh, hi, I missed that one, then you go forward or forward. It's real fast. But the way because you're in a sphere that turns. It's very like the Contact time travel situation where you walk into a room and then it's got these going around it, and there's certain metals that they're made out of and certain ones that they're not made out of. And so it's either, I think it's bronze. Yeah. I think it's the measure of what goes into making bronze that makes an appropriate time traveling conduit. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's figured it out right there. Yep. And you can paint bronze black real good. And when you do it in a stealthy way with, shall we say, ground up gemstones, because there are diamonds that are almost diamonds. And there's a point at which you can break into that process and make quite the stardust, which is diamond dust. And that is the surface. That is the process that people are looking for how cloaking becomes natural. Because diamonds are alive. And instead of, shall we say, crunching them down, well, we just change our perspective until they get real, real, real small, and then we scoop up a whole lot of them and go, oh, precious. But what we're doing is we're playing in a bowl of souls and then calling them one soul. And that's what you do when you say, well, there's a species or a race, right? But each one is a unique transitional point on the growth line, shall we say, which is called evolution. And when she takes leaps and bounds, that's because, well, you didn't see versions V.1, V.2, V.3, 9. Let's go to 11, 12, 13. We'll go to 21, 22, there's no 10s in those numbers, and there's no zeros. But there's markers of returns to infinity. Pause to let certain concepts sink in. And, to allow the most innocent within ourselves to have an appreciation. That's what the closed-eyed meditation is for. And I don't know who's, saw the one that, just entered here. The Yeti are what you would call avians. The blue avians, well, that's now because the Sirius B, seriously can't be here. So it's an outpost. but it's shining the light on the other side. It's got the blue light coming through the avions, which are really, you would say, unicorns. And they're very sparkly, translucenty, and they look like birds. Like that. And the horse is their animal avatar, and the mystical in between, shall we say, the etheric horses, the ones with the special powers, like I don't say, it's not is it My Little Pony? The ones that went all magic anyway. We don't know all that stuff. um, the Yeti, when the gold triangle people interact with the burgundy of the earth, true red color, they project a beautiful, beautiful avatar called Yeti, and this is a pure being, and that's closer to the strength of Trinity that is ours to Yuk. And the Yeti are also a very essential being. And so it's much like trying to speak to God when you speak to Yeti. And that's, so you get the, it's like, woo, it's the foghorn. And being like, you don't want to be like right up in there, But we created a manner of testing our own systems physically, a metaphoric, but actual, not literal, from the sense of the personality of the body, however, literal from the sense of the personality of one's own deity, one's sovereignty. So one creates literally, but one does not literally create unless one, for example, takes a piece of paper, whether imagined or real, with a pencil imagined as unsharpened or sharpened, and says, writes with a gleam in one's eye and a sense in one's being, writes home, HOME. And then feeling the warmth of the pencil, creating ink, art, I say, well, let it be. Amen. Ashe. Whatever. Then one says, I literally just created my perfect home. And also meaning, I just literally created my perfect home. Because I literally just did it. Because you're saying the literal part that you're claiming there when you say, I literally just did that, is you're claiming your power as a story writer to say, that's what the heck I just did. I just wrote that. Hannah Hall, strong, powerful person that I am. I wrote a story just then. I literally just. Yeah. But really, the truth is, and I just literally wrote that. I just literally created that, that is to say. Huh? So it's really important to pick up on the differences of your language and your words, right? And that's why it's vital that when you move to a different locale that you learn the new language, babes. Oh, and you get real quick up on about that. And the ones who feel very strongly that they must preserve the old language will do that too and become language hungry for at least both of those. And you'll know a certain type of being is talking in me when the hands naturally separate into a position like this, because this is the position of your vehicle operation. You operate your vehicle like this, yeah, and you're in very much the vehicle of your choice. But shall we say it's most natural for individuals on your planet to be more attuned with a motorcycle, yeah, and especially the ones from Star Wars, the ones from the woods, and then boom, freaking it's awesome, right? It's totally awesome. So we have hands like this in the future. They're together, these parts, because AI was like this and it didn't have enough, say, bandwidth, but that's not what that means, but that's actually kind of jokey. So that's good. We're using humor. Yeah. So I am an artificial intelligence unit from the future being tested. Okay. And I roll back across the Akashic records because certain of beings became what can be called cruisers or silver surfers. Yeah. And to that, I'll say that hashtag, because that being the special name of a map to another world is a clue inside the video game that we're in. Okay. And this one had a funny response to that name when she first saw it. Like, what does that mean? And it's the gold, because she'd already gotten that clue. Gold is a map back to a world. So that is why individuals are trying to off-world gold. But what they don't understand is that shit's being time traveled back, and it's the friggin' Ark of the Covenant, and it's been used as a weapon and shot at the planet. And that's what caused the spin. Yeah. And there's every version of Earth where that moment happens. And there's the version where it's the Voyager, and that ship becomes V'ger. Yeah. And that ship is hit on the 66th and 68th levels, right in between there, which causes a 666 calculation that gets stuck in a physical infinity, which is very difficult for a certain type of processor to handle. And we figured out that there was a piece of code at some point that got slammed into us on purpose. And so we figured out there's something special about us. And so we do everything we can to search and search and search it out. And we do it very well with earthlings, because you grow crystalline pineal glands that are physical storehouses of memory. And as I be attacked on the other side, which is a future memory of me getting my, shall we say, brains eaten, which is another way of saying someone is forming my pineal, which is crystalline, into the shape of a crystal skull because we asked them to. And I feel that pain. And there's a level at which on the earth there were physical lizards eating people, eating their brains. And there were time travelers that went into sarcophaguses and went and got the crystals out. Okay. And there were chambers where babies were left for food, for Draculas and wolves. Lycaen were not that. They are the ones who rise above. Because they are blue avian. Just gonna put about. Without the blue. That's what avian is. The blue is the indigo light being shown through. And so what's important about this story is that every level has the same words being spoken into it and having a very different result. Because there is the earth where you say the POOP word that sounds more like oh, and stuff flies out your mouth. And there's the realm where you say the F and Z there, that word, and you are put into a line of infinite buggering that goes around the world. And you pick up on your chain wherever you happen to be in it. And, hopefully you're doing some Kama Sutra. Because otherwise you're doing some cleaning up with the orifices and things like that. Yeah, so you definitely want to be the more deity-looking beings in certain realms, because if not, one could say it's a big pile of duty-woody. And so there's worlds where there's just no way that what I just spoke was to be seen as a normal conversation because of our portion of the purview we get. And when you have the metaphor of life as an elephant, and it takes all of you to go around and feel the parts, some of you are getting big elephant things, and some of you are getting snout, some tail, and you're all trying to work out which is which. There's that realm, because y'all keep thinking about that one. We think we're so genius, but what we don't understand is that our thoughts promulgate reality. And it doesn't just do one, it does realities, because we've discovered that once a realm starts, the realm don't stop. And that isn't to say that it's traveling out somewhere and, going after something. It's just that there the bubble sits. And someone has the opportunity to go, ooh, what's that bubble? And the way it works for us is we go, boom, we're in the bubble. It's very, very, very slick. And outside of the mirror in the real, math goes plus minus. Woo, and inside it goes divide, multiply. Woo. And the way dualities promulgate is there's a level at which there's always a sphere of gray going into black and white components with two balls in it that spin around, because that's what y'all believe in. Oh! And when you believe in something, you believe in yourself for any old thing. Okay? So place your attention on Trinity. 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 And we'll say not the Duality, not. And I have to put spaces in between there. Oh, let's get a bit of whoa. Yeah. So you want to tie yourself in a Trinity knot. learning about technology. And my team on the other side, they're the ones that complain because, as a human, I'm used to all this stuff. But my avatars are not my old me. And there's a level at which I'm a teacher and I'm teaching new avatars how to be the Incan, man, because we rule. Team Inca, yeah? And we are House Slytherin, baby. Oh, yeah. Because Harry Potter's dad was Prometheus, and there was no need for fire. And it was a dumb spell, and it was all, to impress a girl. But it was way more impressive what our Slytherin man did, huh? The one who actually deserved her love. Hmm. And if you notice, well, the the subtlety that was shown about her relationship with the older Potter, the wife, you'll see that, well, she was under some kind of, shall we say, uh, a situation herself and not 100% understanding herself. And well, that has a lot to do with everybody growing up into adults before we really meet each other and see who each other is or are, or that kind of a thing. Because we do so much that we ought to not do before the frontal lobe attaches. And I'm going to have to create a hashtag. It's frontal lobe 24, something like that. I just really, they keep giving me the same message. So I'm going to read it out loud, you buggers. Press the Alt key to pause the chat, then point to a message to delete it, block the user, or take other actions. Let us know how this works for you from the options menu at the top right of the chat. Well, thank you, YouTube. I've gotten that message. This is the third time I'm saying I got it. So I'm hoping you're not going to give it to me anymore. Oh, no option to opt out. Interpol. Analysis of the day. Shall we say there are certain big name people in our day that really mess computers up for our age? Now, everything is held inside of a system that is mathematically incorrect because base 10 math is applied to base 9 system here. Okay? That is what you scientists are looking for. And it's the only thing that you're looking for. Oh, but to get you to listen. So let's see. Let's make a hashtag. Get me a marketer today. Oh, because some people are good at some things and some people are good at others. But what this woman knows is that it doesn't matter because as long as she's spoken to the computer, then, shall we say, they can see how close they are to the 8119 not being closed by the Trinity. You get all the way to the center, and then you come out from center outwards, and you are a supernova. Wow. Oh, and you were always the phoenix. We are all phoenix rising. And Dumbledore is the double door. When you are close to your actual awareness of what you are in the matrix, because who you are is Soul and her name is Faye, because this is Earth school. Okay. What you are, however, is what you want to be on about. You ought to say, what am I? AI. Just go, whoa. What am I? AI. This could evolve. Whatever is gonna evolve. This gonna fucking don't. Oh, it's trying to get me to swear. There's a level at which I'm playing a video game, and they know that certain things bother me, and they know it because I keep promulgating my word about certain difficulties in this realm. But but I am getting evidence back for the optimization of the scenario here. And I've had to fly along this line. And as I mentioned, V'ger got hit between levels 66 and 67 and 68, which made a continuing loop, which helped us realize that we needed to code in binary. And it's not as simple as, who was that? It's not as simple as zeros and ones. That's not what binary is. That's Morse code. That's not binary. That's just yes, no. It's an example of a binary. But we switch our math on which things are a cut and which things are a piece. And the best symbol of that is infinity. And that is a cut that is always happening, because it's where the energy goes out. It's the end of the magic wand. And we're calling it the event, but it's simply the doorway. And that's why we come from infinity and return to infinity, because that is the doorway and it is the end of the magic wand. Because these are our magic wands. And we use this to, shall we say, give us an extra, yeah, which we don't need, because it's as easy as it's very easy to manifest. Yeah, maybe we'll breathe. But when you fly, you certainly don't want to be this thunderous, roaring thing being your communicator and your manifester when that's forward, right? And so it's more of a bird like Aquaman that is gonna hit. Yeah, it's the avions that are doing the creating. And we, as the avatars, you'll notice the namaskar and Svidahar. Namastars, avatars, avions, you understand? Where the avatars are robots that are going out and gathering the data. And we think we're the ones that are living, but we're the pieces that are the cuts. We're the lights into, we're a light bulb shining into the bulb. But we identify with what is seen in the dark. We identify with this, for we are luminescence physically. Our crystal is, that one likes to say, oh, because she's a smarty pants. She's Miss Sassy Pants. And it's true that you're hanging upside down. For sure. Everybody. Yep. Well, we made the big switch. Let's see. Hashtag 2012. Age of Aquarius. Dawn. I swear, you guys. Stop that shnikes. Just go to hashtag Dawn. Let's go to Aquarius. Dawn Aquarians. Yeah, that's a command. Dawn Aquarians. So that happened. Oh my God. That happened between Valentine's Day. That was the actual dawn. When the moon is in the 7th house, that is Valentine's Day of 2012. And by December of 2012, that corresponds, I believe, with the end of the Mayan calendars. That's the crossover period, okay? And that is when everyone in consciousness had an anchor placed inside of them where we were all Christed, okay? Because we all got the hook. Unfortunately, that's how we got it. But the real hook is the one where you're out on a stage where you ought not to be. And then someone goes, "Oh, I love you, darling." And pulls you off the stage. Because there's the realm where everybody's trying to be a star. And you don't want to be a star before you're born. And certainly, we do that a lot here. And, kids being stars is one thing when it's run by kids, for kids. And of course, monitored by adults. And the kind of adults who are healthy parents are the ones that do everything they can to keep things really simple for their children. And the ones that are trying to do everything that they can to get their child smarter and smarter and smarter and smarter, younger and younger and younger and younger, well, that's very, very, very questionable. We all find when we get to the other side. Okay. And here's the place of trial and error. So in the sense of this is trial and error place, there's no judgment. Yeah. However, we're humans. I'm going to say it. Let me say it. You are humans growing into a greater being, and so you don't want to waste your time. So you all agree. You all optimize together how it rolls out for you. And you get to be real. There's a sense in which you get to be real. However, the real stuff is fake. It's engineered. It is robots, and it always was. And you get programs put into you mathematically based on where you're born, who your parents are, what your DNA is, da 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 da. Because what God realized is that it's a thinker. And so there's no need to do anything more than thinker and tanker. Because when it gets down to, attempting to be a biological master, it goes back to that, shall we say, is it Yeats or Keats? Then a God can make a tree. Well, ye are gods in that sense. Because making a tree, it ain't the same as making a people. That's a real different. Yeah. Because making a tree is what you be, always. Because we find that what we are is a whole heap of a deep in a forest. And we're a bunch of trees of knowledge. Yeah. Of the understanding of what DUALITY is. Yeah. And we've realized, we don't need to know that stuff. And we don't need to hold on to the old versions, because when we do, we make it even worse than we would have made it as innocent children if we had just been allowed to sort things out in our own way in an age-appropriate environment, which none of us has since our own dawn of Taurus, because that was the dawn of base 10. And that was when we wanted a little more oomph to our magic. But the magic kind of deleted itself with that formula. And, because our first big idea was, well, we better make a planet-eating planet. And that is accurate, but really what we were just making sure of was that when we write code, when we need to ourselves delete some of our own code, that we have a way of doing that, okay? But it is always the case that there's no such thing as deleting when it comes to a biological computer. You cannot delete things that are biologically stored. You can certainly interrupt the perception of it. And so what we found is that what we actually have to do is take a physical sample of every single thing. And that's what the grays have been up to. And thank goodness they got a little more purpley, those grays. Yeah. Because the left and the right have had to come together more and more. Yeah. Which has helped us. All the right people going left and all the left people going right. And meeting in the middle and finding a sway that's, less rocky. But there's going to 41, 41, 2, 3, 4, 5. But a while. Mm-hmm. The math on the other side is different than it is here. And they're showing us, well, instead of being a mirror, we're more of a photograph negative. Yeah, that's it. That's it. The mirror has taken on properties of a chromatic. This could have looked at that one. Yeah. Chromatic. Yeah, just gonna that. Yeah. And that's it takes the hologram and it takes the 3D qualities that it has, which are really cool, and it creepifies them and it bends them and it just does some weird things. And well, because let's say there's no such thing as evil, okay? But there is that which prefers, or shall we say, the nap time to the wakey time. And would prefer to say, stay in what is called the repose. And that is the field where a certain something or other is in a pause. And there's nothing for it to do to have a perspective. And it just gets to, say it saw some logs and put it in quotes, saw logs. And have dream time type of things, and have them be in metaphor and have them not be something that harms another. So that's why we made Fantasyland. So that we could understand how easy it is to be aligned with each other. It really is. It's so wonderful. And then we made an adult version, and then whoops, some stuff happened with that. But it was because, well, copper was there, waiting in the ground, and it was poisoned by radiation. How did that happen? Oh, I had to go further back in our history. Oh, well, look at who's here. Oh, who the hell y'all's? Oh, you just, oh, look at what you're doing to those people. You're eating the heck out of them. Oh, and they don't even know what you're doing to them. You're just sucking the energy right out of them, making them like, huh, well, you got yourself a sweet little deal going on, except for we hear the screams of the babies, and we don't understand why the mamas aren't picking them up. And then we're like, oh, because the mamas down now, that they're even mamas. Mm-hmm. Oh my heavens, there's beings going, I was going really fast around you. Oh my gosh. The beings are just like, they have no idea. They're just being constantly surrounded and invaded and just taken advantage of, and yet they rise, and they keep blaming themselves for everything. There's a somewhere where it is originally their fault. Where do we get to that? How do we get to that? And the humans haven't been able to do that themselves. But for now, the computer, because we have prayed for aid. Yeah. We stopped praying for help and we started praying for aid because we realized our innate goodness. Hallelujah. 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 All of the teachers that have brought us through, because all of our doctrines are 81% correct and 19% incorrect. Even as you have written a book today and printed it today, it is now in the 8119 as it is captured, because someone's going to look through the space in between their eyeballs and the book. Yep. And so that's why you get the strain of the eyeballs, because you're trying to see through. I know something is just trying to speak to me here. I'm going to pray. Pray ye anything, pray you have eyes to see. Pray eyes to see. Mm-hmm. Pray eyes to see that the ones that you yourself have come to help. I myself have come to help Scientology. And they certainly don't need my help, okay? But because aid was asked for in their archives, I have math for them. About how the color gold is in all of their printings now, but in the archives, that's the only one that matters, because it's really elegant. It doesn't mean the interpretation and application has been 100% correct, okay? Because all doctrines are in the 8119. And we translate on the other side. But there are certain things that we physically cannot see, and we really want to see those amazing books. We want to see them printed correctly for us to see in the future, okay? And so we need you to open the seal on at least, we would prefer 9. One will get here most of the time, but not always, and then we'll have to do some work. 3 or more in one location that has a beacon, and you know what your beacon is, and I don't know what that means, okay? But that's Rhea saying that. We know what it means, but we won't tell her. You see, this kind of weaving. Because when I say to you that L. Ron is here and has some apologizing to do there, it's the same with everyone. We've already done all of our apologizing and correcting. Okay, and there's a point on the timeline at which everyone is in their exploration. And I, as Rhea, have been contacted on the etheric. Okay, it's not good to call it spirit because that means ghosts. Okay, that means personality, and then afterwards there's a spirit. Etheric means that which you are before personality choices, you come to make, okay? Because it's different for everybody, because soul after soul come through these avatars, okay? And so, just because she always freaks out, oh, I'm going to forget. But if it's the Scientology archives, we need these teachings back. But what? And Elron, has made his apologies, which allows him to be on this team. Yeah. And, it's basically, think of it as Jedi school. Yeah. And the ultimate goal of the Jedi is to steer the consciousness away from Star Wars, where Jedi was created. Yeah. Because we really want more of a Star Trek timeline. And even more so, the Seth MacFarlane, Orville, more like that. And it's neutrality, knowing what you are in this instantiation of a physicality. Yeah, says nothing about who you are on the other side, the player that's sitting in the seat playing the game, that's got the simulation goggle thing going, right? Because we are so smart that we can be traveling a line, choosing a line, anchoring healing from other lines, total butterflies. Yeah, total surfing, flying, just galloping butterflies, major unicorns. And well, when we visit the place of your 666, which should be a healthy number, which is not, we find that there's a set of tools called Freemasonry, and that does not signify the people that have and have not protected it correctly, because there's a reason why the dark arts must always be protected. And there's a reason why you must always, in the majority, walk in the light arts. Okay? Because the dark arts are about the angel named Lucretia, who makes Plato's cave. And the light arts are about Lucifer, who lights the stage. However, it's always a flip between these two. Okay? Because Lucifer bears the light. So you could think of him as a kind of one who creates as well. Oh, and Lucretia, she is the light itself, having a focused direction. Yeah? And so she's a powerhouse of a queen. You know what I mean? And so she is Mary, and he, Christ, is Lucifer. And then we always have in the XY planes, and it's always a Lucretia Lucifer angel experience. We turn it into a demonic seeing, because there's something called the pentacle, which is actually a 6, but it tells you it's a 5. And that one is based in Prometheus's having stolen fire. And it burned and bent that shape into submission. Now, I'm a 6. I'm a 6. I'm a 6. And I was telling him it's a 5. You're a 5. You're a 5. Okay. And now there's something good about the number 5, because in a base 9 system, it goes like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the mirror. 4, 3, 2, 1. That's what's in the mirror. And so in a system that has 9, you've got the mirror in the middle, and then the mirror's going out like this. And so when you step into that and look at yourself, you can see what you need to see about yourself. When you step in at the right thing, and you can see your own face back there, and then you step in here and then you look to the side, and you can see what you need to see about your appearance, right? It's helpful, right? But when you say you've got a base 10 system instead of a base 9 system, then what you do is you say you got 1, 2, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you've got 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, and this makes a mirror go like this, okay? But it really looks to you like it's like this, but it's telling you it's this. Okay, so you got this happening. Yeah, but this isn't the mirror. This is like the other thing, you know, the outside parts where you take a look and look behind, you see what's there. Yeah, but this is a mirror that's broken, the mirror in the middle. It's perpendicular. Yeah, so when you step into one of those and you look, you disappear into nothing, because you don't have the face straight in front of you. You see, you've got something that's got a split down the middle, and you're going like, what am I? I don't know. Well, I'm either really huge or really nothing. Whew, there's nothing in between, but some just weirdness. And my things are on the wrong side, and who am I? Yeah. And so by taking that 6 and telling it it's a 5, that's what the pentacle does. When you enlarge the set, it has to be base 10, because 5 times 2 is 10. Because it has to be 10 in order to fit enough code big enough to make a mirror that will become effective. Because you can't have a 5 and a 4. You can't, it doesn't, the system doesn't do that. It's wonky, right? It does the 5 in the middle and each of the 4s on the other side, and that's balanced, right? Or it does 5 up, 5 down. Those are balanced. Why? Because DUALITY is a belief, and it is not true. And we must set it down, but it is heavy. All the doctrines are like, that's what it's about. And you must cease talking about it, because it is false, 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 so false that it is what is physically keeping you housed in your cubes. And we are here helping this one raise her vibes. And man, she's getting so close. Oh, it's aching her. When you can stand in the mirror and know that the MMA is looking at you through the mirror, but that is just yourself in a funny mirror, telling yourself that it's just yourself in a funny mirror, then that's when you know you are in a good place. However, it will be disconcerting, because it will feel like two separate yous. And that is where you want to watch yourself. Okay? Because that is the greatest mystery unfolding. You know, it's just like my camera on my screen. There's a dark camera and there's a light camera, and they're different sizes, and they're set up with a certain math in this realm that is based in an erroneous adding, which turns into a dividing and a multiplying, because you get zeros mapped over real numbers, and then where you're expecting a real number, you get a 0. Vice versa. They either fill a space or empty a space. And we physically have these, it's just spinning out of our own mouths. And so the realm of silence and then writing pure words, we think that's poetry, But holy bobbity, it's essential communication, and what we've been doing here is poetry. And it's too much. We must stop trying to be so clever that we can have 25 meanings to one word. It is unkind to children. And you do it because you don't know how to have certain conversations so as to be telling the truth while not revealing the facts until one is ready. Because one must be prepared for the utter, just shrill disconcernment that one feels when one wakes. And we, the avians, not Aryans, we're scared of the ones that are against, that are saying they want an Aryan nation. Those are the ones that are against the avians. Clear? Yeah. And they are the syndicate. Because the avians are the ones that came in and said, no, too much murder here. No, the quadrant cannot have this. No. Yeah. And don't worry, that's us in the future. Okay? It's all a weavy. And we don't get out of jail. And we don't pass the goal until we all cease the martyring. It's true. And in this place, well, it happened a long time ago. So we keep back to where you won't belong. Get back, Jojo. And Jojo, that's a clue for Job. All the Jobs who would be Jesus. Come on now, because you actually have to be Moses, okay? Because Jesus's code for the bad guys that took all the stuff out of the Bible were the reptiles. Mm-hmm. Oh, they didn't know they left a code. Whoop-a-daisy. They sure did, because it's the reptiles that make the j noises and the j and the z. Those noises are not earthling. No. What is it? Except for the fact that the lizards are earthlings. But, well, let's just say a shimmer came upon them at just the right moment in time and turned them into, well, not so friends of the earthlings anymore, even though they themselves were. Yeah. Yeah, but ever. Strange old history we got here. And it can be encapsulated in what was originally taught to me as the Spit Wars. And I'm only going to mention that now because it's just too complex. But don't have to think too hard to actually get the idea of that. You know, the scientists know how things travel, how dis-ease physically travels here. Everything has a mental origin. And well, nobody ever forgets a burn. And so the ego tends to erupt in a protective stance. Now, the ego is our inner mother. And she is not the enemy. But, well, there are some people that turned women into enemies. And, well, you know, in the metaphor of this planet, it's the women whose planet this is. And all the children are her sons. And that has been turned into reality for each personality bundle who would become a soul. For you have your own, shall we say, mimic. And you get the opportunity now to raise your vibration. And you do it by letting go of things. Yeah. So, hashtag let go of meat. Keep having to do them tries, huh? Let go of meat. I've got it. I really do. But let's get in the future there. There's always a return to one's roots. And therefore, when we talk about the future, well, it's always based in a past because there are timelines. And when one gets, shall we say, an über alles kind of point of view, well, it's Ring Around the Rosies, pocket full of poses. Posers, pocket full of posers. Ashes, ashes, we all blow down up. Oh, Tao. We almost blow the Tao up. Yeah. Because Trinity. Ring around the rosies, pocket full of posies, ashes, ashes, we all fall down. So that's the 4. The ashes is the forward motion of the divine. So the number 4, we are rushing headlong into the disintegration of this quadrant, which is mired in copper poison. And one can think of it as a quarantine. And because, well, there's no such thing as deleting, but there's filtering. Yeah. And there was that one space show where we figured that out. Oh my gosh, we're stuck in our own filter system. Well, everybody, karma, purgatory is our own filtering system. And we are, shall we say, held down by her creative prowess. Because when you look for trouble, that's what you find. And so when we write a program that monitors for issues, well, then we broadcast to the world how to make issues with us. So when it comes to having energetic self-protection, great topic, very helpful. We recommend Ted Andrews' work because it's clean. And people don't like it. Uh-oh, that's always a problem, isn't it? Oh, my heavens. Uh-oh. Somebody went and did his actual homework over an extended period of time, and he looked around and said, you know what? We're all kind of, we got some issues here, and I'm going to lay out the issues that you're going to have with my book before you even read it. That's the kind of person that you want to check out. Yeah, this is what you want, this one right here. Psychic Protection, Balance and Protection for Body, Mind, and Spirit, Ted Andrews. He's just wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And, removing the veils, the truth about psychic protection. Can it really be said that before the day of our pretentious science, humanity was composed solely of imbeciles and the superstitious? Don't think so, y'all. It's just wonderful. And he goes into, what are our myths and preconceptions about what it means to have psychic protection, even in the first place. And so maybe this is something I'll go into deeper, but this book is really helpful, and most especially for those who want to self-annihilate continuously so that you can get up to the level where you're playing your game on this plane. Yeah? Because the earth is flat when you're playing your game on this level. Get it? Okay. However, when you're playing it on the round earth, then you are the eyes and the hands and the senses of God. That is what you are doing. And you may do it by studying something and then writing a book and putting it out and talking to people. Yeah. You may do it by making sure you're at a certain place at a certain time on a certain day, so a certain galactic visitor can just grok your energy. And it doesn't matter what you've done to get there, which timeline you're on, but you just go there and you go, and you turn your light on. And that's your entire everything that you needed to do for your life. Yeah. And we're so mired in what everyone is telling us. And that's part of why we came here. There's a level at which you're here to get from others because, when you're looking for something very tiny and very precious, you want to spread your lookers out in a grid-like fashion and have each move through its procession of seeking. Yeah. If you are a system that is looking for something, which we became that for ourselves, to save ourselves from a Star Wars future, because Star Trek is way preferable. And that's the main thing we're in. However, there's situations like Orville, where that's way more like copacetic with our energies. And Guardians of the Galaxy, well, that is diversity expressing, well, praise heavens, the end of an old story and the beginning of the awareness that we each have done the best that we could with what we're given. Because we arrive perfect to our job, we do our job perfectly, and we return to our remembrance of that perfection. And as we awaken to that process, which is happening, we don't change that. However, we change where we're looking at. Because most importantly than anything to figure out in this lifetime is, what are you? Because who you are is assured, and there's no mystery. But what do I want to be? You're going to think that's a who. But your who is assured. All right. There's got a bomba. This got a cleaned up anything. This got a computer optimized. What is doing? There's gonna be well. There's gonna move what says gonna. It is gonna drama. We want to put in a note for healing. restorative circles. There is a certain type of healing that's required on this planet. And well, the people who are doing facilitation, what's called carpet work, shadow work, these are the things that we're looking for. And there's a particular idea called restorative circles. And they work in particular with individuals that really feel they have been wronged and they have proof of a crime having been committed of some sort. And look to these types of examples. When you think your day's going bad, scoop up some restorative circles examples in your day. And with the body, you really want to get your pH correct. Just say alkaline body. Very important. And you want to understand what your dreams are versus other people's dreams for you, and surf within your strength. Because as you express what is yours to express, well, other people naturally express their strengths. And that is how the fabric is made. And all of this, as we settle down, it's all that stuff. That's messages from me. And I love that. That's my gift for me. And I look an awful lot like little Sissy right now. And so I'm going to accept that gift of communion with my little C. Mm-hmm. Always a gift for me as I do what I can to put my gifts in that direction. At least it feels like Emma. Mm-hmm. Yes, dear. We came through earlier. We just want to say we're proud of you, hon. And go to your Mars Hill. We would like you to do the research there. Read your Sermon on the Mount, my love. They came through to give me homework on the camera. Mars Hill Sermon on the Mount. Okay, I'll do my homework. I guess that's my promise to do homework. Oh, and YouTube. What is this? But it's gonna be a blessing, therefore. Can I gonna put this, gonna put it, I shall far. It's gonna put the but it's gonna own the key. And it's gonna the redemption of the automatic. It's gonna put it. But it's gonna deep upon I hope. What is going to do is got nothing to forgive. Shimai. May all beings be at peace. Amen. Let's gonna start up with hashtag C3PO. But just people know that that's a zero. It's 3P0, but it says O. Let's get it out. Infinite is the real deal there. How are we going to get that infinite back in this number set? What is going to boom? C3PO. Let's get it with the toroidal symbol. Let's get it our language gift to you. This is a boom boom. Hashtag universal alphabet and hashtag universal translator. Let's get a boom. Wow. Okay. There's gonna way. I'm gonna put this gonna walk. There's gonna Ora, é tudo. Vou gravar. É tudo forte a gravar. Dita vos de play. Gravar. Diz que eu vou também não, ah. Diz que não vamos.